So we just used the iMend Pro Deck and the iMend Magnetic Pro Deck for Facebook Live. We just cut 20 cuts live on camera. So we thought we'd just continue and see what it looks like if we go through another stack of paper with a smaller die to save trees. And we're going to use both of these decks on different machines and do probably 20 more cuts each just to see what it looks like. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the Sizzix Big Shot machine, and I'm using their multi-purpose platform with tab 1, and I'm going to use the magnetic Pro Deck 2 shims, the magnetic Pro Deck, and like I said, we're using a smaller piece of paper so that we save trees, and a smaller die. This is our Noel die. I'm going to turn it this way so it comes up, and we are using our translucent cutting deck on top, and I'm just going to go run it through. And remember, we already did 20 cuts on these Pro Decks, and you can see how flat they are, how quiet they are. Okay, and the dies or the cutouts come out beautifully. We're just going to keep going, and I'm just going to go and just keep rolling it. And of course, you take all the little bits and pieces out. I'm just gonna really just make this little workhorse magnetic Pro Deck go. Getting a little stuck in there. And I really should stop and clean out the die, but I'm just going to keep going. Let's see. What are we at? 5. That's 10 cuts so far. And as you can see, I'm not flipping or turning the Pro Deck. I'm just going. Which, again, you should clean out your die in between cuts. But really what I want to do, it cuts beautifully, but I want to show what the deck is going to look like, really. So this is the last one. We have what, 2, 4, 5. This is the 6th one going through, or 12 cuts. That's 11. And it, again, you can see paper's getting stuck in there, so it does do a cleaner cut. Oh, you know what? Before I end this last one on this machine, I'm going to clean this out a little bit, so we will have a fresh, clean cut. And this is using our iClick die pick. It is the wonderful retractable die pick, so you don't stab yourself. And it's just a wonderful thing to have, so you don't hurt yourself. You store it nicely. Okay, there's a couple little ones here. Okay, so we're going to do this last one on this machine. And then I will show you the machine, or the iMend deck, after going through all of these cuts. So you can see it cuts a lot better when you clean out your die. But let me show you what the deck looks like. And I'll show you how flat. Look at that. That's without rotating, flipping, or anything. And the only color that you see there is the color of the paper, and it's generally that dark pink paper because there is so much contrast. And so for comparison, I'm also going to use this same side up because you can see the little bit of pink there. So I'm going to go take it through the Vagabond I machine next. So let's move all this over. I'm going to use the same sandwich configuration. Now, I have to stay a little bit to the side here because I'm in the office right now, and I need to get to the nearest electrical outlet, and it's not quite reaching the table easily. So again, I'm using two shims, and the same one, and you can see it still has a little bit of pink on it. So that's a kind of a good reference. You can see I'm using the same exact, trying to find the die. And okay, so let me find my die pick, and I'm going to start again off with it all clean so that we could see it go through. And again, if you're not familiar with the Vagabond I, this was a more powerful machine, so it does have a tendency to go through a lot of cutting pads. So we're going to use this as an example, and I'm going to put the paper down, and I'm kind of going, I guess I could go this direction. You know what, I'm going to switch this so you can see the results come out. That's what I'm going to do. So, okay, so the two shims, the same magnetic cutting deck, and we're going to run it through, and with everything in there. And you could see, same cutting deck, how clean and beautiful that is. That's just one cut straight through. So let's keep going. And again, I'm not going to really spend a lot of time cleaning out the die just yet. So let's just going to go opposite direction. And again, if you're familiar with this machine, it is a very, very strong machine. So it will tend to warp your cutting pads if you're not careful. I want to stay on top of, and you can tell just going through a whole bunch of little bits of paper. And what is that? 2 sheets. And it's getting, the die itself is getting a lot of paper in it, but it's still going. And you can see down on the deck, the Pro deck, it is not warping. It is doing beautifully. We're just going to keep going. That's like, what, 8 cuts so far? And I mean, you could see, again, cleaning the die out, you get gorgeous cuts just over and over again. Let's see, let's do one more without cleaning the die. Just to show you, and it's still cutting out, but that's without cleaning out the die. So let's clean this die out with the, again, with the iClick die pick. And I wanted to use a very intricate die, and that's why we're going through all these little steps here, clearing this out. But I know intricate dies are generally very hard on your cutting pads because they are intricate and you want to get all that detail in there. So this is where our Pro decks are just such a workhorse, so wonderful. Okay, so now comes the last cut on this one, and I left some paper in there, but we could watch it go through one more time. And the main thing will be to show you, well, how wonderfully that cut, but I want to show you the deck again, and I have a shim on it, and you could see we're on the same side, the magnetic one. You could see how absolutely flat that is after going through. Now that's 2 machines, 24 cuts, and look at that surface. You don't see the red anymore, the dark pink anymore on that surface. But look how smooth that is. Look how flat this is staying. This is a magnetic one. And again, we have the 2 different decks, but I'm using the same one just to show, using it over and over again, what you can expect without flipping and turning it. How straight that is. We haven't flipped it, we haven't rotated it, We've just cut, I don't know what, 70 some cuts? I don't know. And just things are still popping out. And the deck itself, I want to show the surface of it. This is a magnetic one. I don't know if you could see kind of the lighting on it. And then let me show how flat. It just stayed so wonderfully flat. Is that awesome? That is just absolutely awesome. Okay, so that was our experiment today doing with our iMend Magnetic Pro deck. We cut 44 cuts on 3 different machines. We had 20 cuts from our Facebook Live demos earlier today. And you can see how wonderful the deck looks. Barely a scratch on it. So flat through all these machines. And it is just, and I'll show the back side as well, so you can see how wonderful that looks. And that is our iMend Pro deck and iMend Magnetic Pro deck from icrafter, and it's available. But this is, these are just awesome. They are wonderful. So thank you so much for watching.